Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SHW F1 podcast. Here with you after the Sao Paulo, Brazil Grand Prix. I'm Tom Delicati, here with John White and Brady King. We are your underinformed American buddies talking F1. And we're here to share with you our thoughts and opinions and some reflections on the Brazil Grand Prix from this weekend. Just like last week, I'm back in Nashville. Thanks for being with me tonight, guys.
Mm-hmm. Sunny Nashville.
You enjoying it there? Is it cold?
It was 27 degrees this morning
Oof.
with flurries as I walked to my car.
Oof.
Sounds terrible.
No bueno.
You're like, I moved
As some
from
would say.
Michigan for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tried to leave all that behind.
Well, thanks for taking it with you.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. You left some behind because we got it too.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they say. Everywhere you go, there you are.
Thank you, John. So here we are. We've got plenty to cover this evening in our time together. Sprint weekend in Sao Paulo. We actually, because of the dispute continuing between ESPN, Disney, ABC, and YouTube TV, which we are all subscribers to, we have subscribed to F1 TV for the remainder of the season. So we had a very new and different experience watching race weekend, which we'll get into a little bit. It was a statement weekend from Lando. And although they had it figured out in the United States and in Mexico, Ferrari might suck.
This is true.
And Piastri and Verstappen had some very interesting outcomes out of this weekend, and another little more points scored in the midfield between RB, Sauber, Haas, and the rest of the teams having a lot to play for there. We have likely a rookie duty to hand out this weekend. But before we can do any of that, a tradition unlike any other, our 15-second race reviews. And the big news for this 15-second race review is that we do these in reverse championship order for our picks, our top 5, bottom 5 3-pointer picks, and we have a new order.
Really?
He's smug about it, so, you know.
Spoiler alert, we do not have a new leader,
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
but we have a new bronze medalist, and that is Dr. King. So Brady,
You could have just said new silver medalist and just let me be, but you had to throw me all the way down to the bottom, huh?
it's hard to throw someone who goes there on their own.
This is
Sure.
very true.
So Brady, why don't you start us off with your 15-second race review?
All right, let's do it. First place in the Constructors has already been decided with McLaren winning, but let's recap the battle for second with Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari all close together. Being a sprint race, there's a lot of points up for grabs. Mercedes, 43, Red Bull, 20, Ferrari, 6. That's it. 6 points. No one's going to tee me up?
I'm sorry.
You can't say on the air. Don't worry, no one's listening anyway.
Boy, we left
we
you
lost
hanging there,
that one.
buddy.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's baseball season's over. It's okay. We don't have to go through a baseball movie.
I was
Yeah,
waiting for
and
like huevos. You have no huevos.
I was waiting for Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball.
We didn't know we were going to the broadcast booth for that one, buddy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you would have hinted around Bob Euchre, I could have helped you out a little bit, but I
all right.
apologize. All right. That means I'm next. So, in a weekend full of surprises and dominance, one performance stands out over all the others. Crashing out of the sprint, failing to have a car ready for qualifying, and then crashing out of the Grand Prix on lap 1. So congrats to Lance Stroll. Hang on, I got to check my notes. It was Bortoleto. Sorry, as a force of habit.
That poor guy.
I feel bad.
What a
for
crash.
him. I kind of knew it was going to turn up that way. If you go back and listen to last week, I was saying people in their home races, unless you're one of the top 3 drivers, you tend to just fart around during your home race. And that's what happened to Bort. And I feel bad for him, but He's going to have another shot next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, that crash, scary stuff.
That's pretty bad.
The pictures, like the still shots taken like right in the middle, are incredible. I mean, you could not recognize that as a car. Like if you look through all of the debris, you can kind of make out a car in there.
It was bad. John, you're last,
All right.
but you're also first.
Yes, I am. All right. Mega weekend for Merck. Oscar looked more like Stroll than Oscar, showing us he might not be as cold as ice as we thought. Lando showed us he actually does have what it takes. And Max said, hold my beer, and almost did a miracle, or actually did a miracle pit to second. He's a bad mother. Shut your mouth. And Bort, well, he might have shat his jorts on 2 occasions, showing me I was completely wrong about home field advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I was wrong. I was very, very wrong, and I'm okay with that.
It's okay. It's okay. You're also wrong about Max going from pit to second. He did finish in third.
I misread my notes. I was trying to read too quickly. I said almost pulled off a miracle pit to second, and then I was like, wait a second. And then this is why we practice before,
Mm-hmm.
This is why we do pre-show and practice before and then come out and wait, we don't do that.
We need a proofreader for our notes.
Yes.
Well, I want to get your opinion. So, Brady, you were the first to jump on this bandwagon, the F1 TV subscription.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like your initial feedback because I'm feeling like you consumed it the most this weekend. And I want to hear your feedback on just the product itself and not having to go through the Sky Sports turnstile as we typically do.
So a couple things stand out. One, picture quality, fantastic. I don't know if you guys got 4K wherever you were watching or whatever, but I did hear picture quality was great.
I'm on a rear projection 50-inch CRT, so it didn't really come through the way that it was supposed to.
Well, you need to find that 4K. It was beautiful. I loved it. So great picture quality. I also really like that you can switch the audio, so we could go back and forth between like the normal, like the Sky Sports guys, like Brundle and Crofty, and whoever we also had in the booth. So you can kind of switch back and forth and do different
I didn't know that was an option. I didn't try that.
And then being able to do the little picture-in-picture kind of thing where you can ride on board with people was also novel. I'm not going to say I want to watch a whole race like that, but like being able to just kind of switch back and forth was kind of cool to be able to see everybody out on track. So from a product standpoint, it's great. You're getting a lot of stuff from there. Some little random things, like we were in the middle of watching, I think it was the sprint, and we were a little bit behind, and it immediately cut us out and jumped us to qualifying, which really sucked because you're getting some spoilers. So these are just like little like Apple TV, probably, hiccups and things like that. But everything else about it was fantastic. So
there just seemed to be more meat on the bone on the ends of the product. Like we get what ESPN gives us previously. And now it's like, well, you get a full, hour before sprint if you want to watch that, an hour before qualifying if you want to watch that. There's just more meat, more content on the intro side of things and on the back end when it's complete, when the session is over.
I have a confession.
John didn't watch the race.
No, I did watch the race. That is not my confession.
John's not wearing pants.
I don't have any pants on, but you can only see me from the neck up. I had to watch on my phone. So I watched Sprint on my phone because I was kind of busy and I didn't want to miss it. So I was watching Sprint whilst doing other things out and about from the house. And then Sunday, I was ready to watch the race, and I have a Samsung TV, and Samsung has built-in apps. One of the built-in apps that they don't currently offer is F1 TV. And so I was like, well, I will log in from my computer and just plug the HDMI in and call it a day. But because it's in that Ultra 4K, my computer was freezing. And so I'm like, well, poop, this isn't going to work. Let me grab an extra Fire Stick. So I grabbed an extra Fire Stick, plugged it into the TV, went to log in. I exceeded the maximum number of logins for devices and was not going to go in and try to figure out who or what to log out like 2 minutes before the race started. So I sat in my living room and watched it on my phone. It was glorious on my phone.
Yeah.
But I did not get access to all of the accoutrements.
Well, there's going to be, I was going to say next week, but 2 weeks. We'll have it again. We'll have it through the end of the season now.
That was my other gripe, because I had to watch some on the phone too. But my other gripe was it didn't like to minimize the window. Like if you went to a different app or your home screen or something like that, it didn't keep playing.
So we have some technical issues.
Some improvements.
I don't know if
it's
made. Sure. Yeah. But on the phone,
I do want to go.
Great.
Yeah, I do want to go and check back in now. So like, obviously with the ESPN, we just get whatever they give us. Now with the app, I want to know what other things we got. I know there's some historical stuff we can go back and watch races from all sorts. I didn't dive into all that. I just didn't have the time. So now I want to see how far back can I go. Is there something fun I can go watch from 20 years ago? I don't know.
Maybe you could watch the last time that Max Verstappen got knocked out in Q1 on pure pace.
That was a while ago.
Don't know when that happened.
John doesn't want
another trick question.
Yeah.
Is that a trick question that you have again, Tom?
People were throwing it around this weekend, and I can't remember exactly what they said.
It was
I can't
like
remember if it's been 20 years
Yeah.
since both Red Bulls were out, or maybe it's been never since Max Verstappen was out in Q1 on pure pace.
It was like 2018 or 2019. I can't remember exactly when, but it's been a while.
It's been a while, exactly.
He was just saving all of his pace for the race.
Almost like last year. So
do we want to talk about how Max did it? Is that what we want to get into right now?
Let's just cover Brazil as a whole, because I feel like there are bad races in the calendar. There are good races. There are great races. And then there's Interlagos, because it just seems like every single year, this is one of the best weekends. And sometimes it's from weather chaos. Sometimes it's from just a topsy-turvy shaken up grid. Sometimes it's actual collision chaos, but it just it never disappoints.
Brazil is always awesome. And to be honest with you, it really shouldn't be from a racing standpoint, because it's an old school circuit, right? Like it's an older racetrack. And so it's not designed for the cars as the size we're at right now. So you would think that there wouldn't be as much passing as there is. And yet here we are.
It's shocking how good of a weekend it is every single time. And what's the most disappointing thing is that I don't typically like sprint weekends, but at Brazil, it's the best. And next season, Interlagos is not a sprint weekend.
A little extra disappointment.
Yeah. But hey, we lived it up while we had it. This season and in the last couple of years, it has been fan-damn-tastic.
Right.
It was a great kind of turning point race, like in general for this weekend. There was so much movement that took place from both.
There was a lot at stake, and a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Stories up and down the board, right? I mean, obviously the battle at the top, but even as you get down in the midfield, I mean, what was it at the very end? So Max, crosses the line, and then you look back, and there was a train of, was it like 7 cars? And they're all battling for points that are all really important to every single one of those teams. So, after 2 hours of racing or whatever, we still come down to essentially 2 seconds deciding a whole ton of millions of dollars.
Yeah, you pretty much had like Russell and Piastri cross shortly after Max, and then the train came through of like Lawson, Hadjar, Hülkenberg, Pierre, Albon. Like all of them were within like a second and a half, 2 seconds of one another.
Right. Yep.
It was, it was a statement weekend from Lando. He came into this weekend with a 1-point lead in the Drivers' Championship. And we were really wondering what that would look like coming out of this weekend to see if Max could make up more ground or if Piastri could retake the lead. And after the sprint exit on Saturday from Piastri, when he hit that little curb that's got some standing water and he slipped and spun out, and then 2 cars behind him did it too, Lando felt a little more breathing room. He was up to 9 points? Was that right? 9 points
Correct.
After Saturday. And then he puts it on pole with Oscar in 4th, I believe.
Also correct.
And Verstappen starting from the pit lane. So it seemed like it was going to be a very good opportunistic weekend for Lando. But you always thought in the back of your mind, or at least I did, Lando could really screw this up. And he didn't.
He maximized his points this weekend, obviously. Perfect weekend, right? Really was. Practice, he was on top. He put it on pole for the sprint race, won the sprint race, put it on pole for the race, won the race. So
the only things he didn't do perfect this weekend was get the fastest lap of the race and lead every lap. But other than that, it was the perfect weekend.
Perfect weekend.
Which awards you 0 points for those things. So, it's like get the points, go home, continue to put space in between you and Piastri. And now, what is it, 390 to 366? You've got Max at 341. Like, Oscar should be thinking, can I hold on to second? Not should I get back to first?
Style points don't count for anything in a World Drivers' Championship. You're absolutely right. Congrats to Lando. I mean, it was a great weekend. If Verstappen would have qualified better and didn't have to make the drastic changes to the car that he did for starting in the pit lane, then maybe we have a different narrative coming out of this weekend. Because I think Verstappen, I don't know, it's hard to play the what if game, because like, did he do as well as he did this weekend because of the changes they made taking the car out of Parc Fermé and putting a new power
almost
unit
certainly
in?
Yes. The Red Bull they've done this a few times where they've gotten their setup wrong. That car has such a narrow window where it's good, and we can see that. I mean, like, again, Yuki he's a world-class driver, and he's god awful in that car. And at the end of the day, what Max ended up doing was after the sprint, they basically took Yuki's setup and put it onto Max's car, and then they tweaked it, I guess, as I understand it, after the qualifying, because it wasn't very good. But the point was what he had in the race was essentially Yuki's setup tweaked a little bit, and Yuki couldn't do anything with it. Max drives it all the way to second place from the pit lane, or third place. Sorry.
I was under the impression that it was more drastic change than just tweaking Yuki's setup.
Well, I shouldn't say it, because they gave him a new power unit also, which adds 20 horsepower, if I understand that correctly, which is like a tenth of a second or so around the track. So having a new power unit obviously is not going to hurt. But in general, like, the setup for the car, as my understanding was just that they took Yuki's setup, which was supposed to be a little bit safer, tweaked it to try and have it go around for qualifying, which it was still too tight. Then they relaxed it a little bit and got it more into its window. But the point was that whatever the original setup they put on the car for practice one and then the qualifying for the sprint and then the sprint was awful. Like, I guess, well, awful is not totally the word there, because Max did, what did he come in sixth? Something like, I can't remember exactly what he finished for the sprint, but the point was that he wasn't happy with it. It wasn't a stable car. It wasn't a good platform. So they decided to make a whole bunch of changes afterwards. So they keep doing this where they can't quite get the setup right on that car.
Yeah, but they also make the changes to make that car very competitive pretty quickly. And that was the most surprising thing to me, was that after the sprint, you're allowed to make changes, and they made the wrong changes. That was the most surprising thing to me, because you put Max in the car and you give him 2 sessions. You give him a practice, a sprint qualifying, and a sprint race. He should be able to tell you exactly what needs to happen before qualifying. And then they got it wrong. He qualifies god awful, and then has to make changes either back the way it was similarly, or plus the new power unit. Who knows? The point is that they did get it right quickly after getting it wrong, and he made a world-class drive from pit lane to podium. I mean, it was insane. And the more that race went on, the more I thought he very much could get second.
Yeah,
I think everybody thought that. And I don't think we should probably discount either the fact that I remember one of the radio messages, this is right after Max came out on softs with like 30 laps left, and him and GP were going back and forth, and you could hear the radio messages, and he was like, hey, listen, second is available here. Like, we think you can get there. And Max's response was, we don't have anything to lose.
Yeah.
And so like he was just flat out, and immediately then got fastest lap right after that. Right. And just started cutting through the field like a butter knife. It was nuts. I don't know if he would have driven, maybe he would have driven that hard had he started, I don't know, 6th or 7th and then tried to get his way up to first. I don't know, to your point with the what if game. I know, play it. I love to hear it.
Keep talking.
No, I'm just saying, I don't know that he would have, I don't know what would have happened had he started further up in the grid, but to watch him cut through that was just unreal.
It was pretty cool.
You want some trivia about Max now?
Go ahead.
Sure.
So I saw a stat now that says Max has gone from they listed the places from these places to start to a podium, and it includes every single place on the grid, including the pit lane, except for 4. So it's like he hasn't started from like 11th, 13th, 16th, and 19th or something like that, and hasn't made it to the podium. It's like, well, he doesn't qualify that low very often, but that means every other place he's started and driven all the way to the podium, which is an insane stat.
That is absolutely wild. I'm starting to believe he is one of one. You know, he's not just one of the greats. He's kind of one of one. Like, I don't know. I'm not calling him the greatest of all time. Don't hear me wrong. But his talent level is so unique, and I'm appreciating what we're watching. That's all. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about how bad Ferrari was, how interesting things might be for Piastri for the next couple weekends, and see about the midfield and the rookie duty.
Today's episode is brought to you by Colapinto's Goose Eggs. Are you tired of rising costs of eggs, looking for something truly affordable? Well, Colapinto has got you covered, because nobody's producing more goose eggs this season than us. At Colapinto's, we believe in a true track-to-table experience. Every goose egg is collected fresh from the grid, handcrafted over the race weekend, and delivered straight to your door with absolutely 0 points of contamination. Sure, you could buy George Russell's golden yolks, but who wants egg cartons shaped like a letter T? Our eggs are rated on a strict point system, and trust us, you can't get more 0 than 0. Warning, consuming too many goose eggs may cause mild disappointment. So crack open your weekend with Colapinto's Goose Eggs, the only eggs guaranteed to stay perfectly pointless all season long.
Oh, boy.
10 out of 10, Brady.
The delivery service is, I mean, that's pretty cool to be able to have eggs delivered.
Yeah. Are they delivered by Colapinto?
They're delivered by a goose.
Okay.
They're delivered by Jack Doohan.
Oh, poor Jack.
That was unnecessary and uncalled for. So, does Ferrari suck or not? They have they had their CEO, or I can't remember, like the chairman, come out and say today, basically, our drivers need to stop talking and start racing better.
Because that's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah. He's catching some heat about this. How do you feel about those comments, and how do you feel about Ferrari in general right now? What's the state of Ferrari in your mind?
I can't I don't understand how after all these years that we continue to look to Ferrari like they're like leading the pack in anything. I mean, honestly, every other team is sort of past
merchandise
them by.
sales.
Yeah,
they are leading the pack in merchandise sales.
They promote from within, which is admirable, but they also don't necessarily always have all the talent to get it right all the time. This weekend, though, it wasn't like their strategy was terrible. It's not like the car just completely let them down. There was some bad luck, but the car isn't, they're not second place car. They're a third or fourth place car this season. But what happened to them in the race was just like that extra little bit of, well, you're not the best team and you have some bad luck, so it looks really bad. But I mean, that's what happens to bad teams sometimes. You just get bad luck on top of it.
Ferrari are the Dallas Cowboys of Formula One. At one point in time.
So some of the listeners are not going to know. So we're going to educate them.
They're not going to, yeah. So in the early 90s, the Dallas Cowboys, American football team, after Jerry Jones acquired them, an oil man from Arkansas, brought in Jimmy Johnson.
A lot of backstory here.
A lot of backstory, but I'm going to tell you. Brought in Jimmy Johnson, who was the coach for the University of Miami. Anyway, they go on to win back-to-back Super Bowls, which is the best thing that you can do in NFL. And then after that, they just kind of fall apart. But somehow or another, they have a large, massive following across the United States. It's not just relegated to Texas.
Spoiler alert, Texas is big.
Texas is big.
Dallas
it's not just Texas. And they are the most valuable franchise in the entire world. but have not gone to a Super Bowl or damn near won a playoff game in probably 25 years. They're not good. They are an 8-8 team at best.
Spoiler alert, they did win one playoff game, and you know who that was against?
Detroit.
Thanks.
Got robbed.
Yeah.
So you're saying Ferrari is just riding the momentum from their greatness 20, 30 years ago?
Most definitely.
They're a perennial second or third place team.
Yes, but the thing that's frustrating about them is they have the ability to be a top contending team. They should. It is Ferrari. They've been doing this long enough. They make fantastic automobiles. They should be able to get in top talent from around the world, yet they fail every single time. More often than not on strategy, but hire a strategist. Like Ferrari cannot get out of their own way to save their life.
So I'm not looking anything up while I go through this, but the CEO, the chairman, whoever, is basically insinuating it's the drivers.
Yeah, that's a good look.
But Fernando Alonso did drive for Ferrari after he won world championships.
Mm-hmm.
Sebastian Vettel drove for Ferrari after he won world championships.
Hamilton.
Correct.
Lewis Hamilton has now driven for Ferrari after winning championships. You're getting previous champion drivers, and they can't do anything with it. Or they can't do enough with it. Yeah, so why are we blaming the drivers, right? Especially Lewis and Charles. Like, these guys are, like, Charles just bleeds Ferrari and has his entire career. Like, this is the pinnacle. This is what he wanted. And he wants to win with Ferrari. And the whole reason that Hamilton left Mercedes is that Ferrari was an opportunity, and he wanted to go try and win with Ferrari. Like, there is this attraction to them. But once you get in the door, it's like you're smothered with mediocrity.
Yeah.
You have to do things the Ferrari way, right? There's a Ferrari way. And it's not like they're dog crap. It's not like they're ninth on the grid.
Leclerc qualified in third.
Right. The car is fine. It's just, I think the best way to describe it is they have the talent and the money to essentially just put themselves always at like number 2 or number 3, but they never have like the right person in the right spot that it takes, whoever that ends up being, to push them over the top to win the title. I shouldn't say never, because they've obviously won a ton of titles, just not as many in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
So there's something missing there. But like you said, I don't think that obviously we're from the outside. It's not like I'm reviewing every engineer's resume or something that works for Ferrari, but it's really hard to look at Lewis and Charles and say, yeah, that's the problem. I mean, maybe Lewis is past the prime. Okay, sure, whatever. But like, no podiums? I mean, come on.
No, so this was a sprint weekend, obviously, and the midfield had a little bit of a shakeup, but we had points scored. You had a sprint race and a main race, and you had points scored by every team on the grid.
Yep.
Except Williams.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it was pretty cool and kind of a big surprise that Gasly got a point in the sprint race and then another point in the main race. Like, 2 straight sessions where Alpine has scored a point.
Yeah.
And that's impressive after an 8-race run of no points. Sauber scored points for the 3rd weekend in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Haas scored points for the 4th weekend in a row.
And for a while, can we say that Ollie looked like he was kind of fighting for a podium for a little bit there, but
yes, he was.
For the 2nd race in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked really good this weekend.
I think if he could have just put Q3 together and qualified better, he probably could have hauled in more points. He had it locked in, and he's had it locked in now 2 races in a row. So it's an impressive trend for Ollie. Aston Martin scored points for the third out of 4 weekends in a row. And Racing Bulls, after 3 straight goose eggs, scored double-digit points by finishing 2 cars in the top 10.
Can
It was impressive.
Can we talk about some of Isaac's radio message though?
Yeah,
boy,
course.
he was a feisty Frenchman on the radio.
Right?
He was getting some direction from his engineer, and then it's like, "Don't yell at me! Don't yell at me!" Like, settle down, buddy. Chill out a little bit here.
Didn't he like immediately apologize after that too?
I must have missed that part. I heard Max and GP going at it a little bit during the sprint race.
Oh, dude, that
Yeah.
was funny.
Like an old married
I'm just
couple.
giving you the settings.
I like it.
Whether you take them or not is on
What
you.
you do with it is up to you.
Radio silence after that.
Yeah. My gosh. No, but I mean, surprising that Williams didn't get any points, but it was cool to see RB really kind of stamped their dominance on P6, if you ask me. They're now 10 points ahead of Aston and 12 points ahead of Haas, where we had 4 teams all within 10 points. Now we have 4 teams all within 20 points. So it's a bigger gap between 9th and 6th now after this weekend. But we still have another sprint weekend coming up in Qatar, so a lot can still happen there. But we have a triple header to end the season. So we have this coming week off, and then it's Vegas, Qatar. Is that right? Vegas, Qatar,
yeah, Vegas,
Abu Dhabi.
Qatar,
Yeah.
Abu Dhabi.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed, like you said, about Williams not being able to put it together. But it wasn't like they also, again, just were at the bottom, right? They were fighting for it. They just couldn't quite get it done.
They qualified really poorly for the main race.
Yeah, Carlos is having a rough, hard season. And so when they put it together, it's more surprising than when they don't put it together. So this week's race just kind of seemed like a typical race for them. They just kind of found themselves on the out, which sucks because with a couple of other drivers dropping off on the wayside, there were points definitely to be had. And Lord knows they could use it. But
yeah, it's almost like they found themselves on the out, not because they did anything wrong, but because their competition did something right.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's whoever figures it out that weekend is, I know it sounds like a John Madden saying, but like whoever figures it out that weekend on the kind of that bottom 75%, like those are the ones that are going to win. It's not that anybody did anything wrong, just one team got it right.
There's so few points to fight for. I mean, when you really think, because again, you've got Max, Lando, Piastri up at the top. So, you got 3-4 spots right off the top. Russell, Antonelli.
But nobody was counting
like 4.
But nobody was counting. Like Max and Lewis were both out early in qualifying, so everybody thought there's going to be more points to go for.
Yep.
And they just
Max
couldn't
said, "Hold my beer."
But even with Max shooting up like that, you had Leclerc DNF. You had Lewis, who started low and then DNF'd. So it's like you did have some top teams toppling out of the points. And so, yes, I get that there's so few points up for grabs, but on this particular weekend, it was topsy-turvy. There were way more opportunities, and the other 4 or 5 teams below Williams took advantage of it. That's what I'm saying.
No, you're absolutely right, because now, as we're saying, the RBs going into the last 3 races, they're in the driver's seat for their spot because all things, being equal, you're going to be fighting for 7th to 10th, and there's just not enough points there to make up 20 points or whatever. So all you got to really do is finish in 8th a couple of times or whatever, and you've got your spot. So
I'm not saying they can. I'm not saying they can do this because if recent history tells us anything, RB went 0-0-0 and then got 10 points this weekend. But if they can string together 3 more 10-point weekends and Williams is goose egg, RB just got 5th.
Right.
I did not have that on my bingo card.
We did not. Wild.
We got to go back and look. We did our predictions. I don't think we've checked in on those in a while. We're going to have to.
That's an end of season thing. We don't need to do that.
All right.
Real quick.
Shut up, Brady.
Real quick.
Trying to do real things in here. Get out of here with that nonsense.
I don't have time. I just don't have time. Rookie duty.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I've got a nomination, but I want to save mine to the end. I want to hear your guys' first.
I feel like there's a slam dunk here, but I also feel like it's a hotly debatable rookie duty because you could make the case for a number of names. But go ahead, John. Do you have a particular name in mind?
Yeah, I think that you could make a case for Kimi or for Isaac or for Ollie. All three of those are really great in the running. However, I'm going to have to go with Kimi. Anytime you have a rookie on a podium, and then that same rookie who, for whatever reason, figured out the last 5 laps to keep Max Verstappen at bay whenever he just chomped up every other driver on the circuit, give that man a duty.
Tom, I want to hear yours first. I'm going to defer to the end.
It was interesting that 4 out of the top 8 drivers were rookies.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's something that we haven't seen this year, obviously, but
probably never see again in a long time.
We'll ever see that again. Like, this might just be the wildest race for rookies that Formula One has ever seen. So I would say you're absolutely right. There are shouts to go out in terms of who was trying to be the dude this weekend. It's got to be Gabriel Bortoleto. But in terms of who was the dude this weekend, it's Kimi Antonelli.
He had an attempted duty, but found himself in the jaws of constipation.
It was a failed execution on the duty.
I'm glad you said it, though, because I was actually going to say my dude for the weekend was Bortoleto.
100%. You're with me. But
took a huge wreck that, if you go back and look, that wreck, by the way, it happened so fast and so suddenly on that car. I can't say that he did anything specifically wrong. The car just kind of bit him. And for him to take a whack like that and then be ready to go 3 hours later, was it correct? 3 or 4 hours later or whatever for qualifying, and they didn't have the car ready to go.
But then
for
to get him
right back,
to physically be ready to go.
Exactly. And then to get back out there and to, put it on the line again. And obviously, again, it didn't work out, but again, not through necessarily his fault. I'm going to say you're the dude. You were the dude this weekend.
I respect it.
Okay.
But we do have a 2-1 vote for Kimi over, and I'm not going to split it this weekend. I think we have to give it to Kimi.
We can just give him an honorable mention.
Yeah, 100%.
Duty?
Just honorable mention.
An HM duty. I don't know what that stands for. Hard.
Stands for honorable mention. We just said it. What the hell? Clean your ears. All right. That's it for us. We might have an episode next week. We might not. In other words,
it's Vegas, baby.
Don't wait up for us. But in any account,
so with text messages on Wednesday wanting to know why our episode didn't drop.
Guys, it was always fun talking about the race with you, and I'm sure we'll talk soon. Until then, thank you very much for listening, and have a good day.
Good night.